You know, sometimes it doesn't make any sense to me. I try and make a Hasan video, and it never ends. I try to understand the Hasan drama, all of it, from start to finish, and it never ends. There's always something more. There's always more to dig up on Hasan Piker. Every single time I try to make this video, it never ends. I chain smoke cigarettes, I put up files, I download stuff 24/7 to make this video, and it never works. I've tried to make a Hasan video twice in the past, and every single time I tried to do it, there's always been more. But finally, I think I've done it, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've done it. And just like this cigarette here, I think I'm getting cancer from it.
You fucking moron! You racist piece of shit!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Holy Commentator, and today we're going to discuss Hasan Piker and all of his flaws and every little bad thing that he's done on this fucking internet, every single twisted thing, every single time he's tried to twist the truth, every single time that he's trying to release everything without context, every single time that he blames everyone else for his problems, his friends, all of it combined just leads to the same exact outcome. Hasan Piker is the best streamer of all time, ladies and gentlemen, and not for the ways that you guys are thinking, but because he makes the best fucking content for quite literally everybody else but himself. He continues to put himself into deep water and to put every single one of his enemies on fucking top, and you have to respect that kind of grind set, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, this is going to be a video discussing most of the criticism that most normal human beings have towards Hasan Piker. Whether it's the people he supports, the context, the amazing friends that he has around him, all these different details and more in this upcoming video. So of course, if you like this video, do me a favor, like and subscribe just like usual, the classic YouTuber shit, and let's finally get into discussing why Hasan Piker is so bad. Now you may be asking yourself, holy, who is Hasan Piker? What does he do? What does he actually believe in? You may know Hasan Piker as Hasan, Diddy, Epstein, Osama bin Adolf Piker.
In case you don't know him, allow me to introduce you to Hamas, Diddy, Osama bin Laden, Adolf, Epstein, Piker.
There's a lot of different names here given out by a lot of different commentary channels on Hasan Piker, and you may be wondering to yourself, that seems a little bit far-fetched, that all seems a little bit mean, but let's discuss Hasan Piker and all of his beliefs, and of course, the ones I at least want to mention here. The very first thing, and the very first thing most people need to understand when I'm discussing Hasan Piker is, well, if it's against the US, it is correct. In his foreign policy, this is exactly what he believes in. If it is against the US, if you are in the complete opposite section of the US, you are 100% in the right, and that is exactly what his belief system states.
Let me explain to you two principles that you should keep with you, coming from a person who's Turkish, okay? When you look at a situation in the Middle East, you look at what the local government is and who the Western forces are. Never align with the Western forces. That's a principle that you could take home with you. If you want to actually be moral, or if you want to be smart about the way you analyze other countries, that's one basic principle that you can take home with you. All of a sudden, magically, you are above on your foreign policy analysis. You're gonna be better off than 90% of people that look at the situation.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying.
So, you said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that?
Yeah.
Now, you can clearly see in that clip that was clearly exactly what he thinks about politics as a fucking whole. You know, there's no little gray, there's no little middle ground, and you can tell with the other types of countries that he supports, and countries in general, meaning countries like Russia.
Russia was deploying units across the Ukraine border. US intelligence said that they were going to invade, but Hasan and his intelligence team of absolutely no one says no.
And we got a lot to talk about. I was right about Ukraine. That's right. War is not imminent. Oh, shock.
I think maybe I'll tell my editors to do this, but I think I'll just change I'll change this every day to Ukraine has still not been invaded by Russia every day. Change it to Russia still has yet to invade Ukraine. And it's like day 11 at this point, you know what I mean? Regardless of whether he wants it or not, he needs it as a buffer state. Exactly. Exactly. You feeling bad about the Crimean annexation does not change the reality of the Crimean annexation being a completely justifiable fucking act by the Russian government, okay? So that's it. That's fine. And Hitler invaded countries based on Germanic ties at first.
That statement is factually true.
Yeah, dude. Talk to me when he's fucking throwing Ukrainians in a fucking... What are you talking about? Talk to me when he's throwing Ukrainians at a concentration camp, okay? Hitler wasn't fucking bad because he decided to invade Austria. He was bad because he was fucking killing Jews, okay? That was the problem. He wasn't like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking annex territory with like Germanic people in it. That wasn't the main problem with Hitler, I think.
And meaning countries like China.
I don't agree with the U.S., but by talking like this, you make it seem like you were pro-China. First of all, I am pro-China. Okay, so make no mistake on that front. I am pro-China. I do not mind multipolarity. I do not fear multipolarity. So on that front, I am definitely pro-China, as pro-China as it gets.
No, you go.
No, you go. Go. No,
They just got a nicer track record in terms of wars. Like once they start doing more of them, maybe I'll be less pro-China. But like,
fair.
They've done like 2. You know, in like 70 years.
Chosen reservoir, baby.
And one of them was glorious.
Yeah, it was fucking glorious. So, geez, your foreign policy take is so bad. This is like the Crimea stuff in Hong Kong. You can't be a social. I know Hong Kong is famously on fire.
Yeah.
You know, I always check in with Hong Kong to see how bad things are in Hong Kong, because remember they like, you know, when the Chinese took over, they executed everyone. It was so crazy. Fucking baying pig, you bloodthirsty, violent pig dog.
So when you tell and you say, oh yeah, Russia was never going to invade Ukraine, with American intelligence saying, fuck, they're all on the fucking border, they're about to fucking invade, and the very first thing you say is, guys, no, they're not gonna fucking invade. These guys are Russians. They would never invade anybody ever in any type of historical context ever in life, in history, never. And then of course you have his whole entire clip on, you know, China, where he said, oh yeah, China should invade Taiwan.
Because I do not think that China is fascist. I think that they are authoritarian. I don't think China is closer to fascism than America. Tibet was literally a fucking feudal slave mandate, like so autonomous zone.
China did them a favor.
That was one. I mean, in America, when I say something like this, people get very upset. You know, we talk about the Dalai Lama saying "suck my tongue" or whatever, but like that's not far from the norm in fucking normal Tibetan existence before the Communist Party came in and
so China unilaterally took over Tibet.
Like
these are their culture. They basically are trying to, you know, homogenize the culture.
If your culture,
they're trying to spoil the religion and the identity.
The part of feudal warlords and slavery, abolishing that, yes, I do think that is good.
No, China did them a favor.
I think that, yes, I will be on the record
just like America did it.
That while the Chinese
go on, say it. If you took this conversation and framed it with the United States and the natives, or with Palestine, Hasan wouldn't agree with it at all. He'd freak out.
And I think this is a good way to describe Taiwan as well. The American federal government going to the south and killing, unfortunately not all of them, but a decent amount of slavers and defenders of slavery. This is violent retribution from a powerful federal government that squashed, okay?
Tibet is the South in the Civil War?
Yes.
Apparently Taiwan is too.
They were a feudal, oppressive, slavery-backed state, autonomous region.
Mm-hmm.
So
just like Russia's denazifying Ukraine.
No, I don't agree with that.
Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet. You are fucking cancer, okay?
But of course, you have all these different types of things. Of course, they're against the U.S., therefore they are in the right, right? That is 100% of his values right then and there. And on top of that, he does support other types of political kind of things here in this kind of little space. And you have to say, he's very good at it when he says he supports terrorism. And he says wholeheartedly that he supports terrorism. He supports the Houthis.
I talked to a teenager from Yemen, okay, who everyone called, myself included, called Timothy Charlemagne or Chalamet.
Is that the One Piece one?
Yeah, exactly. Now this kid is like, I think he was like 19 at the time when I talked to him, which means that for most of his life he has withstood genocide, right?
Sure.
Like he is a person whose only experience is like, it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically, okay? Being able to talk to Anne Frank.
Hasan Piker, notorious terrorist sympathizers, just compared Anne Frank to the Houthis, who are ruining my home.
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
Absolutely!
Your beloved Houthis killed my mom's best friend. Anne Frank never killed anyone. The Nazis killed her. Your beloved Houthis took over my country by force, not through democracy. Anne Frank never took over anything. She was hiding in an attic. Your beloved Houthis have been starving my people for more than 10 years. Anne Frank was starved by Nazis, like the ones that you support. Your beloved Houthis have imprisoned journalists and killed.
He supports Hamas.
Hasan defends Hamas because Hamas and Palestinians are the same thing in his eyes, and oppressed people can't do anything wrong.
People try to make this distinction between Hamas and Palestinians. You are completely oblivious to the reality. Hamas is a Muslim Brotherhood fundamentalist cutout. It also happens to be the only popular form of governance amongst Palestinians. Do you want to know why that is the case? Do you want to examine the reason as to why Palestinians, who are comprised of incredibly diverse backgrounds, are now looking at a fundamentalist group of Islamists, for the most part, as their only savior? Do you think that it is important to analyze that situation? Or do you think it's easy to just say, let's separate Hamas from the Palestinian plight, let's separate Hamas and their actions, they are different? The reason why people do this is because they want to support Palestinian people, but they think the only support Palestinian people can get is if they are perfect victims. If they just sit back and die, except the media rarely ever covers it when that happens for year after year after year, when they march peacefully to that same border wall so they can peacefully return.
Meanwhile, hanging from the tarpaulin walls of the tent she now calls home, 3 sons, victims of the war, watch over their mother.
تعبنا والله بطلع في احفادي بس قلبي بتقطع يا ريتها في عيني ولا اولادي راحوا انا ام شهداء 3 لا بيت ولا فرشه ولا لحاف ولا شيء وهيني مريضه كانسر.
Amal's suffering is an all too common story in Gaza, and it's pushed her into speaking out.
فقدت اولادي كيف ايش اللي تغير علي بدي اطلع في المسيره بدي اطلع بدي اطلع لا للحرب لا للحرب لا للحرب.
Simmering anger has boiled over in recent months. While ultimate blame for the Gaza bombardment is laid at the feet of Israel, more and more Palestinians are taking to the streets to say the responsibility for letting it drag on for more than a year and a half lies with Hamas. Amal was part of this rally which erupted back in March.
أنا شاركت في المسيرة لأنه ضد الحرب. إحنا ضد الحرب ضد سياسة حماس اللي في البلد بتصير أو في قطاع غزة.
So, of course, Hamas Piker is supporting a terrorist organization that is not even supported in its own country and is killing its own country's people. And he supports any other terror group that is against any type of the belief systems that is before. He's even gotten a Houthi terrorist on stream to really promote him as a terrorist, saying this about the guy.
And he is a known terrorist. And Hasan interviewed him and it went really swimmingly.
Okay, this is a stupid question. Okay, you can preface it with that. Does he know what One Piece is?
Luffy.
Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes. That's fire. That's so fire. Oh my god.
For the unaware, Yemeni Timothy Chalamet here is a part of a known terrorist group called the Houthis. And just so you guys know, the official slogan of the Houthis is death to America, death to Israel, and curse upon the Jews.
Now, of course, if you put all these little things together, you really start to wonder, why the fuck is he still on the platform? He's supporting terrorism actively, he got an active terrorist on a stream, and every single one of his foreign politics is hating the country that he was fucking born in. He was born in the US, he was born in New Jersey, but they refuse to say anything else. He refuses to move anywhere else, and he decides to bitch and complain and jerk off in a fucking corner, just complaining about the country that he's living in. And now you may just say, well, all these things, it can't get much worse from this, but it does get worse, ladies and gentlemen, because he also supports the absolute game ending of police officers.
Oh, watch out, watch out. Oh my god! Oh my god! Watch out! Are you okay? No, you shot me! Oh god! Are you okay?
What the fuck was that? Holy shit!
Honestly, there's a study where it says that, more cops actually die from suicide. I don't know, than gunfire and on the line of duty deaths.
What are you getting at?
Just nothing. I'm just saying, let's get those numbers up, baby. I love war! I love war! I fucking love murder! I want more war!
He's laughing at police officers. He's saying they should go and just absolutely game end themselves. I don't know how else to say it in a nicer manner, but that's exactly what he says. There's no middle ground for him when it comes down to this. He thinks that all of them are bad.
And of course, if you really want to say, well, fuck, it has to stop here, it has to stop there. Law enforcement is where it has to stop at, right? It can't get any worse than fucking hating law enforcement.
Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, it does get worse, because he does support support the grape, the grippies, the absolute forceful, you know what I mean? He supports that as well, as long as it's against the people he dislikes.
At least Patrick Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that like if you have these millionaire, billionaire, wasp fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date rape to other billionaire, millionaire fail daughters is like, in some respects, you know, from a utilitarian perspective, of course, a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like taking these guys and putting them in a pen with one another is ultimately getting them away from the broader society. I'm not stating that it's a good thing that date rape is happening. I'm saying that date rape from these people are inevitable, so at least it's contained to others from the same fucking stock.
The mission team reviewed incidents of alleged sexual violence related to hostages in Gaza. Based on first-hand accounts of released hostages, the mission team reviewed clear and convincing information that sexual violence, including sexualized torture and cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment occurred against some of the women and children during their time in captivity, and has reasonable grounds to believe that this violence may be ongoing. It is first-hand accounts. Okay. Can we read the first-hand accounts? No, they're not. They don't have first-hand accounts. Is this enough? No, this is not enough to indict someone. Of course it's not enough to indict someone.
Back in August. DNA found at the scene indicated that Sinwar had also been in the area, possibly using Carmel and the others as human shields.
Some people...
Oh my God, come on, dog. Like, bro, they killed him alone. My analysis, even if there was multiple rapes that took place on October 7, this does not change anything for me in this dynamic. What rapes did Hezbollah do? Bro, what rapes did fucking Hamas do? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, the Stop Anti-Semitism account that considered me to be anti-Semite of the week has also been hallucinating rapes once again, doing rape fantasies once again, because they're fucking mentally ill.
Hamas has committed horrific acts of sexual violence and took
women and girls, men and boys slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people.
Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right.
Totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at different locations. There are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the form of rape, gang rape, during the October 7th, 2023 attack. Credible, circumstantial information, which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, was also gathered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm gonna walk you
Are
through
they
this real quick.
hallucinating?
No. So you just don't know what words mean. So credible circumstantial evidence. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, of course.
Credible circumstantial evidence is not a substitute for forensic evidence. Credible
That's why I said Pixar didn't happen, bro.
Not
You need
enough
rape
to
kits.
prosecute.
Hasan needs
Credible
rape kits.
circumstantial evidence is not enough.
Pixar didn't happen, right?
Prosecute rape.
So here's the ironic part. Forensic evidence is literally circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence covers everything from DNA on the victim's clothing to the victim's behavior after the incident. Prosecuting based on circumstantial evidence is extremely common. So really, it seems like Hasan's the one who doesn't understand what circumstantial evidence actually means. Does Hasan think no one got convicted of crimes before the invention of cameras?
Credible circumstantial evidence is not a substitute for forensic evidence.
Hasan needs
Credible
rape kits.
circumstantial evidence is not enough
Pixar didn't happen, right?
prosecute rape, which is precisely the reason why the Israeli prosecutors themselves have said that in the absence of a singular victim coming out, and also with all of the forensic evidence that has been tarnished already.
Show me evidence for anything you're saying. That's not. Show me evidence for anything you're claiming that isn't some unhinged freak on Twitter. Believe all women, hey? Hey, are we believing all women unless they're Israeli?
You already know it. You watch Twitch. You know it. We're dumb as fuck. Myself included, okay?
Now, of course, when you go and you talk about politics and usually talk about the left, they really most of the time say they are the side of peace. But of course, Hasan Piker really does a really bang-up job at really reinforcing that idea, as you can clearly see in this clip.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets
soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Son, you are quite literally in the top 1% of the United States of America. If there was an uprising and a revolt against the rich, you would probably be the very first person to be taken out, you stupid idiot. And this clip.
When you're an adult, oh, great. Drew Pavlov, when you turn 18, society asks young men to pick one of these two as their role models. If these two are the only forms of masculinity available to us, I'm straight up killing myself. I can't respond to his suggestion, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would cheer. Not me, of course, because I think it's you know, I would never say certain things, but I don't know why people like Drew Pavlov volunteer this as an alternative, as an option, considering so many people would go, oh, that's fucking awesome. Please do.
Yes, Hasan just basically told somebody to go end their life and nobody would care. Which, I mean, you know, you have to respect him at this point for the amount of bullshit he's able to do. He continues to reinforce that he hates everybody and the people that he dislikes deserve to go... You know what I mean? That's exactly what his belief system is, and that's exactly what he's always believed in. And he's still on Twitch after 6 bans. Most of them, I'm pretty sure, were 24 hours, and that was about fucking it for him. But all these bans have led him to this, and he's ruined the platform that he's on, and which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But also, as a whole entire general thing, to bring it back to his whole entire ideology and his political ideology, what does he actually support when it comes down to politics? Well, he supports socialism. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, well, in all these clips that we've seen here, he's in a very nice setup. How does that work? How are you a socialist with a setup that amazingly nice? Well, he lives in a $3 million mansion.
They live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway, okay?
With a $500,000 car.
They live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway, okay?
And on top of that, he doesn't pay his employees right.
Do mods and editors get a say on what Hasan gets to cover on stream that day? Does he profit share with them and provide benefits? No, they don't even get paid.
Are you paying, right, a percentage or something proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators?
Yes.
So you're paying moderators or a head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators.
So no one. You gotta love how he's just down to lie if Train didn't press him.
He doesn't pay his editors at all. And he continues to lie about that fact. So a man like this is one of the biggest political streamers on Twitch, and he refuses to get banned, or let me correct that. Twitch refuses to pull his fucking cock out of their fucking mouths to do anything about it. And instead, he continues to promote this very hurtful rhetoric. And whatever you think about the Israel-Gaza conflict or anything else like that, he will continuously go and reinforce that he is 100% on the side of any type of terror organization. No matter what they do, no matter how much bad they do, he continues to support them regardless. As a matter of fact, as of recent, the one big thing that led to his 24-hour ban, as of, I'm pretty sure, roughly around the 28th of May in 2025, was this. Now, for clarification, this actually happened on the 22nd of May. I was a little bit late when I was recording this whole entire thing, but yes, 2 people got shot purely because of Jewish descent, and the guy who was absolutely gay-mented this person left the scene arrested, saying "Free Palestine." Now, this huge gigantic news report came out, and his manifesto came out, and he read it, and instead of absolutely demonizing it and saying you should not just randomly game end 2 random people that have nothing to do with the conflict other than the fact they could be Jewish or of Jewish heritage, he continued to reinforce that this guy was 100%, he didn't necessarily say the word good. He didn't say this guy was a good guy necessarily. Well, we'll give him that, but he definitely did not demonize that in any way, shape, or form. He definitely did not say to his chat,
"Hey guys, you know, I don't think you should do this. You know, this is not supporting our cause at all, and I don't think you should be doing this, especially in America."
Palantar is a word that means something like thunder or lightning. In the wake of an act, people look for a text to fix its meaning, so here's an attempt. The atrocities committed by Israelis against Palestine defy description and defy quantification. Instead of reading descriptions mostly, we watch them unfold on video, sometimes live. After a few months of rapidly mounting death tolls, Israel had obliterated the capacity to even continue counting the dead, which has served its genocide well.
I mean, hell, look at his chat. They clearly all agree with whatever this guy wrote down. And again, this is not just any guy. This guy had murdered 2 people in cold blood.
Censored. Free Palestine, Elias Rodriguez. Now, the reason why I read this manifesto, and we have obviously read the manifestos of white nationalist shooters as well, is oftentimes to understand that is oftentimes to understand the mindset of this person, especially when there are a lot of mainstream narratives that will immediately design an alternative scenario.
We'll be discussing this in a second.
I don't think that this person acted out on an anti-Semitic desire or is a fucking Nazi or anything like that. But that is dangerous in a separate way, okay? The very fact that a person who is this legible Okay, the very fact that a person who has their shit together enough to be able to write a fucking write prose such as this one in the act of vengeance, in the act of vigilante justice in his own mind is meaningful in and of itself. It's meaningful because it means that there are people who haven't fucking lost their minds that also see and are choosing to take action such as this, taking action such as this that is terrifying for the average person, okay, regardless of what their position is. One thing I will say about this manifesto is that it's shockingly well written and thought out for being a shooter manifesto. Exactly, because this is the reason why I'm reading this. The reason why I read this is specifically so that you understand that, like, there is a shit ton of people that are like, no, this is done. This is conducted. The shooter's actions were. The shooter's actions were directly about finding some Jewish victim to kill, okay? It's deliberate. It's very clear. It's clear what his reasoning is. You don't have to agree with what he did, and I'm not urging you to, okay? I'm not saying that at all.
I really wanted to read this manifesto so people can truly understand what possible media thinks can come out of this, and how people can twist the media into making this seem like something else. The guy who totally wrote this book was totally 100% not anti-Semitic. The actions that he had in the future were totally never anti-Semitic in any way, shape, or form. The fact that this person who wrote this amazingly legible piece of art here is as an act of vengeance is absolutely insane. This is done in vigilante justice in this guy's in this author's own mind. And as a matter of fact, this is very meaningful because there are people who haven't lost their mind that see injustice, taking actions that is terrifying to the normal human beings in the near future. I read this so people can understand the actions of this man. I am not urging any of you guys to support this at all. See what the problem of this is. Do you see how you can compare and contrast what he said? Yes, this is actually the book called The White Tiger, but regardless, do you understand how you can screw this up to a certain extent? Like, you can make this up at this point. You can say this about quite literally Angry Little Mustache Man, and it would be pretty fucking similar. How could you fucking say this shit? I don't support it. I'm not urging you to support it. And he says something more to fucking reinforce what he said here. He doubles down.
I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting is so fucking crazy that it's like you could not have fucking designed a incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who is genuine in his actions and maybe, you know, a little bit brain broken. Okay.
Yes. The elimination of two people, and he's genuine in his actions, just a little brain broken. Yes, good job, Hasan. Can somebody get this man a packet of crayons and a helmet? Jesus Christ. Instead, he continues to really pussy around the point, and he continues to act sad when reading this guy's manifesto. Now, all of this are Hasan Piker's beliefs, and I think that's a very perfect way to leave this off, so you understand everything as we go forward. Every single one of the ways that he continues to reinforce his political ideology, every single one of the ways he tries to push his ideology, and every single type of way that he tries to, well, support terrorism and a lot of different terrible things. Let's go talk about how he does this and how he promotes this to his audience. Obviously, he has to have some really good means of being able to promote this message so he seems like the good guy, because he's been on Twitch for a long period of time. There's a lot of creators who support him. There's a lot of fans who support this guy. So how exactly does he do this? How does he promote the message of the very first part and the very first part of this video? How does he do it? How does he go and have people support death to America? How does he have people support Russia and China and separate invasions? How does he have people support terrorism? How does he have people support all these different values? And the very first thing he does is limit context or lie out completely. He's the kind of guy to go and talk about a terrorist and say, oh, well, this guy is actually not that bad. He's just fighting for his rights, and really limiting exactly what he did, the same way he did with Timothy Chalamet, calling him fucking Luffy from One Piece.
أكيد يعني منذ الطفولة وأنا أشاهد ون بيس لوفي.
Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes, yes, that's fire. That's so fire. Oh my god, dude. We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
But that's like basically saying that Adolf with the short little tiny mustache dude is just a really good painter who made highways, actively ignoring every other little part that he's ever said about it, which is, funnily enough, making him way more extremist when it comes down to anything else. And as a matter of fact, he is so far on the left, he's so far in the support of terrorism in complete and utter ways, that there's people on the very far right, like Nick Fuentes, who are basically have the ideologies lining up when it comes down to terrorism, especially around the Israel and Palestine conflict and around Jewish Zionism and all this kind of stuff, right? When you have this kind of stuff continuously reinforced, continuously pushed on an audience without any context or just straight up lies, then of course people are going to be agreeing with your message way more often. Because the only thing that you're showing them is, oh, Gaza is in such bad straits, Israel is thriving, they're all having massive, amazing orgies up there at the top floor of a fucking skyscraper. They've never had to do anything. They've never had anything bad with them, despite there still being death in Israel as well. Now, if you continuously do this and you continuously push this narrative that every single type of Jewish person is continuously terrible, or if you go and you try to push a narrative that Ukrainians were on the fucking brink of becoming the members of the short little mustache guy, then you have to fucking wonder, why is he still on the platform?
When Russia invaded Ukraine, he constantly justified it by saying Ukraine and its army was full of Nazis. This is the same propaganda Russia pushes. Hasan acted like every citizen in Ukraine was on the verge of fascism.
The reason why a small amount of nationalist forces gaining prominence is additionally terrifying. It's like Tinder, okay? It can cause a wildfire of nationalism because it's already baked in to the attitudes of the commoner, okay? Every person already has like a predisposition towards nationalist tendencies.
Now, if you ever try to contest Hasan about anything, when it comes down to any of his points, his immediate reaction is very telling for how he believes it is politics. You go and say, well, you know, I don't fully agree with you on the Israel-Palestine situation. I still believe that there's still innocent Israelis that are fucking dying in this war. And you say anything like that, do you know what you're going to be called? Don't worry, let me go through the list for you if you really don't know 100% off the top of your head. You are going to be considered a Zionist, a racist, a sexist, a homophobic, a transphobic, and all these different little values that he continues to add on everybody.
And if you disagree with his assessment that killing concert goers is a natural part of resistance, well then you must want every Palestinian to die.
Dude, if they subjugated you to a open-air prison your whole fucking life, you're going to break out eventually when you realize that there's no other way to get out of it. Like, do you think that this happened out of nowhere? Do you think this happened out of thin air? Are you fucking stupid? Do you think the Israeli state was just like peacefully coexisting and then these guys came in with fucking gliders out of nowhere? Don't say fuck off, dude. They didn't deserve it, you fucking idiot. My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence. You want way more than 260 people dying. You want every single Palestinian to be fucking executed ruthlessly in the streets so that you can build another fucking theme park in Gaza.
This guy only said 3 things, none of which implied that.
You fucking baying pig. You fucking bloodthirsty, violent pig dog. Suck my dick.
He's going to consider me racist, homophobic, and absolutely sexist or whatever the fuck just because I say I don't fully agree with him on this situation. And he does it with his own chat, and he does it in every single debate he's ever been in.
Hasan would debate with a viewer over trans women competing in women's sports and breaking world records.
Please stop. You're not making any good arguments. No, the only reason why I'm not making any good arguments to you is because you are transphobic, and that's the unfortunate reality, and it's probably not going to change.
This guy didn't even say anything hateful. He just didn't agree with Hasan, so now he's transphobic.
Or they're literally breaking records after records, not just participating. Wrong! Wrong! You are wrong. You are making that up. You have read like 3 articles from like 3 random edge cases. You are wrong. Show me.
It's right there in front of you. Just read. When one of Hasan's trans fans would chime in and say that Hasan's doing a bad job arguing for trans people, Hasan can no longer just write them off as being transphobic. So instead, Hasan decides to be transphobic.
Here's the other part. Like, you, for the record, my issue as a trans person is the fact that you, a guy that isn't super well versed on trans, brought on a known transphobe knowing he might bring up transphobic shit. You aren't exactly a vosh at trans debates. I hope that the rest of your life is as horrible as it is every single day, okay? There you go. Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet.
You are fucking cancer, okay? You are cancer in this community, and you're cancer in every community. Suck my dick. For the past 15 months, you've been able to fucking hide in these ranks. You catboy fuck. Move your catboy ass out of here. You are never welcome. You are never going to be unbanned. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you want to get unbanned, I will never unban you. You are now banished into the fucking shadow realm, okay?
Including the recent one he had with H3H3, otherwise known as Ethan.
Pro-terrorism, Ethan. Violence is inevitable, Ethan. You fucking moron! You racist piece of shit!
Now, with all that in fucking mind, you just, again, it's brain dead arguments. He's absolutely brain dead when it comes down to his political beliefs. And that's actually what works in his favor. When you go and you act very passionate about something, people are going to listen to you a hell of a lot fucking more. If I were to go outside and talk about trains with a passion, go up under the stands with my microphone and say, trains are the best in the world. I love trains. All trains should run freely through every country. There's so many trains, and then every single person that says,
actually, I don't really agree with that. I honestly think that cars are better than trains.
And I say, you are a terrible human being for thinking that. How could you not think that trains are the best in the world? You pathetic little loser, you little cockroach, you little lying little ratty squirrel bitch.
Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet. You are fucking cancer.
You know, it's as simple as that. That is his arguments when it comes down to a situation, and that is exactly how he expresses politics. He continues to reinforce his politics using that kind of narrative. You don't agree with him? You're racist and sexist. Okay, well, what if we're talking about the killing of Jews and how you're kind of saying it, you kind of said a couple of things that seem to be pretty racist against them.
Yeah, where is that chatter? He was like, come to Israel, it's so beautiful here. I should go to the old city so I can get my fucking shit pushed in by some of the most inbred fundamentalist hick.
Oh, but I'm not racist. As a matter of fact, I'm Hasan. I would never be racist. I've never been a problem. As a matter of fact, I have never said these things in the past. Which kind of gets on to the next point. If none of this really works for him, he does the next best thing, which is deflect. You never have a fucking problem if you continuously deflect it. It's not your fault. Hasan has never been the fault of anything in his whole entire life. He jerks off into a sock. It's not his fault. It's the sock's fault. The sock was in the way of his semen. How could it do this thing to him? You know, all these kind of things. And I mean, let's just give some examples. Oh, my best friend Idubbbz decided to make a content cop on you, H3H3. Oh, well, it wasn't really me who made the content cop. This might be me being in the introduction of the video, kind of showing I support whatever Ian Idubbbz says in this video.
How was filming that content cop? I just have to know what you felt, what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No. We're here. I don't want to talk about definitions. You got your Zionism, and let's do
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was fine.
Did you not?
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well in the past.
But that Fortnite L dancing.
Some of them feature sketches. I hope you know that, like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. Idubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and I've addressed him thoroughly.
All right,
do you know that? Do you believe he should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Wait. I'm a little confused. You are asking me.
Yes.
What my opinion is on
the video.
Idubbbz's content cop.
Correct. That's correct.
About the CPS. I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was more so about like your year-long conquest of deplatforming and also
right. Well, 90% of the clips were from the episode entitled "CPS Came to My House," Hasan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail. I sure do.
Or, you know, it's not my fault, it's the fans' fault. Oh no, it's not my fault, it's the internet's fault. Oh no, it's not my fault, it's the rest of the world's fault. It's not Palestine's fault that some people are dying, it's 100% Israelis' fault for, you know, trying to defend themselves in these kind of situations. When you add all these different things and you compound them, it's really hard as a fan, as a dedicated viewer of Hasan Piker, of course, to really say anything against that, because none of it's Hasan's fault. He's 100% in the right all the time, and if you decide to believe in somebody who's always 100% right about fucking everything, how could you actually realize, or how could you actually decipher what is true and what is false? What is the truest part of this, or is it just complete fucking false lying narrative that he tries to present to be able to fucking put his point across as a way that cannot be criticized?
Crash out, it's Asmongoat's fault I got detained. What is this? So is Hasan blaming me that he got detained at the airport? Yeah, guys, I made the call.
And I was shocked. We're unironically brought up in that conversation. The Houthi.
Like, did you?
That's right. Yes, that's right. Saying that you support a designated terrorist organization got you extra questioning whenever you were re-entering the country.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical? Sure.
I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. I have no problem with the Houthis. Yeah, because I don't. What do you mean?
Yeah, okay, there it is.
If you think I'm a terrorism supporter for that reason, then yeah, I'm a fucking terrorism supporter. What are you talking?
Okay, well, there it is.
Fucking gotten me arrested is insane. And I genuinely, in that moment, was thinking like, these dumbass slop tubers are actually playing with fire. The reality of the matter is, 100% the Trump administration is working with a lot of these fucking dipshits.
Now, if none of that works, and he continues to be pressured, and he continues not to being able to answer his question, or whatever question is given to him, and he continues to try to deflect on everybody else's fault, or he tries to deflect and say that's a bad question, or a bad answer, or whatever, he continues to do the next best thing. You gotta love it. So you know if you have a baby, what happens when they pop out of the womb like 80 to 90% of the time is they go, wah, wah, and they start whining and they start crying and they start pissing themselves. That's exactly what Hasan Piker does. Every single time he's actually caught out on fucking anything. Any single time that he can be continuously reinforced, he either does two things. He leaves the situation or he cries and whines continuously about it.
Wait, what? Attack on U.S. consulate in Iran happening now? False flag. 100%. MEK false flag. MEK actors, 0% chance. That is so fucking sussy. Oh no. Oh, that's what's going on in Iraq, the American base that was under attack. No fucking shot. When I say MEK, I just mean CIA. I said MEK, but I mean CIA. Rumors saying the missiles were launched from Iran. I mean, dog. Come on, bro. Like, come the fuck on. You think? Like, think about this. The Iranian government, after like years of crippling sanctions, despite fucking following the denuclearization agreements under Donald Trump, still got more sanctions and still got fucked over time and time again, who are still trying to, according to the U.S. State Department, very close to finalizing the denuclearization deal this week, ends up fucking bombing an American base? Like, really, dude? What the fuck are you talking about?
I love war! I love war! I fucking love murder! I want more war!
Iran then took credit for the attack, and Hasan's chat corrects him. And then he just leaves with an unrelated video playing in the background.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, I'm sorry. It's just so much easier for, yeah, you guys are right. It's so much easier for me to just always fucking blame whoever you're pronouncing Iran wrong? Wait, what? I'm not.
I can't afford to buy a sub, so I use my free Prime sub for this man.
Praising the local communists. Meanwhile, Disney executives say they will not produce any new...
Which, of course, you can see in this H3H3 clip where he had a debate with him.
And now explain what he means by that. We did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Iraqis are not Palestinian, you fucking moron! You racist piece of shit!
What?
Because Iraq and the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that arise out of
You are
Zionist
out of your
violence
mind.
is not about Palestinians.
Okay, so what did the Jews in Iraq have to do with fucking Israel, you bigot?
Actually fucking
You are
terrorize the
so out of your
Palestinians.
mind.
And then Iraqis...
Dude, you screaming and grandstanding doesn't mean you're right.
Now, this happens pretty often. He had the exact same thing on Piers Morgan's show when he had to try to debate anybody about Israel-Palestine conflict to begin with.
Because it's Jews, it's okay.
Ask this demon next to me wearing a fucking IDF dog tag.
Only when it's Jews, it's okay.
Ask this fucking demon next to me wearing an IDF dog tag if she actually thinks Israel's actions are justifiable.
Bring them home.
Do you
it's
see
to bring
me
the hostages home. The hostages that you rightly believe belong in the tunnels of Gaza.
I'm going to give you two. I'm going to let you two.
And that's exactly what Hasan Piker continues to do to try and express his arguments even more. And again, passion through anything really represents and really shows to an audience that you are somebody to be trusted, or at least not somebody to be trusted at very least, but somebody who's passionate about a subject, who's able to kind of, you know, prop up whatever politics he has, just using that passion alone. And of course, this all leads to the next best thing. When nothing else works, when he doesn't want to talk about an issue, he has a group of friends to talk about it for him. Oh, Hasan has a lot of good streaming friends. All the people that you probably know on the internet if you've ever gone into any political drama. When you go and you watch a more Pegasus video, for example, or a Tectone video, or an Asmongold video, you will see some of his friends pop up. And I feel like it's mostly because they pop up whenever Hasan Piker is too much of a pussy or doesn't feel like going and discussing a certain topic. You have people like Frogan.
So I personally donated 10K. Because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you, you know what I mean? No thanks. And some people are going to say that, you know what I mean? That's why it's the difference.
This is a cracker take.
Difference between like, hey, I can put my money where my mouth is, but I don't need to put your money there. I don't need to enter a fucking debate about whether that's worthwhile.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
You have people like Mike from PA, one of the biggest cuck lords of the fucking internet, even bigger cuck than Idubbbz, I may have to say, who acts like a really tough man, like he got some big fucking guns, like he's gonna fight everybody he comes across, but in the end, he refuses to.
But I gotta be honest, with my experience in life, with people like Ethan, the only thing that ever knocks them out of their fucking spiraling is the rod. It's the stick. It's not the carrot.
Okay, Chief.
Like he feels like he's bullying you. He feels like he's hurting you. He's not gonna stop until he's bleeding out of the corner of his mouth. And I get it. I want to be empathetic. Like, I understand the value of empathy. I understand the value of trying to reach out to someone. But somebody like Ethan, he needs to see some stars before he's gonna fucking back down. You know?
I mean, clearly we know what the problem is, right? He's just said it himself. Some people just need the sticks. That's the part. That, there's no carrot involved here. And honestly, I think he just has a severe point. I have a lot of empathy, not gonna fucking lie, but here's the thing, I'm more than happy if it's necessary to leave people bleeding from the corner of their mouths, if that's what the case is. Mike from PA maybe is right, we need to start fighting some people, left, right, and center. I'm ready for some shit here, let's go.
I'm on the H3 to Hasan to Mike pipeline. Oh god, oh my god. Can I just say, shout out to H3 Snark subreddit for having the most sane and kind snark website I've ever seen in my entire life.
Let's be very clear, the guy who's talking about all this shit, the guy who's supporting the H3 Snark over here, and the guy who's saying that Ethan needs to be bleeding from his mouth before he learns anything, let's just go look at the clips, let's go look at this very big tough guy over here that's been saying all this.
That's fine. I think that's fine. So if a guy pays for my tab...
I think I'm getting your attention. I feel like I touched like a vampire touching holy water.
Can I help you?
I think they want to go in.
Okay.
That just feels good. Oh my god. Yeah. It just feels good.
What did you just do?
Nothing.
Why is this couch now moved? Did you just hit the couch?
No, you just moved the couch back. I just nudged it.
Wow, you know what? Honestly, he has a point here, guys. He has a point. It felt really good.
You are justified in attempting citizen's arrest. This is not my idea, by the way. On war crimes and genocide, everyone has the right to arrest or detain a criminal. And defending genocide is the same thing as doing it. Universal jurisdiction is a legal principle allowing states to prosecute individuals for certain serious crimes such as genocide, war crimes, and crime against humanity, regardless of where the crime occurred or the nationality of the perpetrator or victim. Every single human being in the entire planet has the right to try to effectuate a citizen's arrest under the principle of universal jurisdiction for crimes against humanity. Aiding, advocating, and abetting genocide is a crime. And so therefore, every human being is instantly deputized in the entire world to take means to arrest that person and take them to The Hague. That's my opinion on that.
This is a cracker take.
Honestly, if you bring up citizen's arrest, you have to be one of the biggest, sandiest vaginas in human existence. There is no way you can bring up citizen's arrest and not sound like a pussy. Not only is that the fucking problem, but on top of that, it has been disproven before. That's not how that fucking legal requirement works. And then, of course, after that, who else do you have? You have Denims, who said this stuff about the CPS calls on H3H3.
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. There's a wide variation across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3. Listen, I'll up the number, okay? 30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. All right? Because then it's a win-win for me. I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore.
And yes, this is a clip where Denims is putting a bounty on Asmongold's head because she disagrees with his politics.
The reason for doing something is important and your intentions matter. I didn't do that because I wanted to fuck over Tectone. I did that because I want to uplift voices of women who are sexually abused and are mistreated in the content realm.
You want to know why Denims think I did that shit? Because one person who wanted to marry me and has literally gone on record saying I was the best thing to ever happen to her in her own words multiple times. It says I was the best boyfriend she ever had. Once we broke up, got upset, and made up a whole bunch of fucking lies. Never once did Denims ask me, so what happened? Never once did Denims ask me, can you show me any proof? Is there any way you can help me here? Which I could very clearly explain. Every single person I've had a conversation with, it's very, very, very simple to disprove. Unfortunately, Denims should know, with the delicacy of this nature, I can't just go spitting it out on fucking stream. It sucks. But when you are this fucking ignorant to say this shit, bro, you aren't listening to women's stories, you are weaponizing them. And I think there's a huge issue where if one woman, or fuck, even one man says, this person did something bad, and you don't look into it at all. You don't check all your sources. You don't get both sides at all. And the first thing you do is say, well, this woman said it, so it's true. Well, this guy said it, so it's true. I'm sorry, guys. Being upset does not make it the truth. Denims, you are the most dangerous thing to happen to the internet in a very long time with how willfully ignorant you are. I'm sorry, Denims. You are retarded. And everyone who hears your voice has their IQ lowered due to you. Hearing the stupid shit you say has made everyone else around you even dumber. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, for extra context, Tectone's ex-girlfriend, he kind of explains it in this clip, had made a bunch of allegations against Tectone, all of which have been disproven in the end and all these kind of things, and she basically just said everything out of vitriol. Now, Denims is going to be able to use this against him and say, oh, well, you totally did these things and therefore you're a terrible person, which is just absolutely stupid. And funnily enough, she acts like she cares, but her best friend, Hasan, clearly hasn't cared about such a thing.
That doesn't sound good, Doc.
Gleason 9, John, means that it's in a very aggressive form of cancer. And group 5 means that within...
You're a fucking idiot. This needs to stop. Now.
So, to be honest, I kind of found this funny. I giggled to myself a little bit. Doing crab rave to Biden's cancer diagnosis is fucking insane. And, you know, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen on a Denim stream. But again, this is coming from the apparent most moral people on the internet who apparently understand empathy. Noah Sampson is another really good friend of Hasan Piker.
One last question. Did you send the skulls? What is your opinion on the skulls, and did you send them?
I didn't send the skulls. I don't know. I thought the skulls thing was kind of humorous to hear that. Especially when I heard that they were like from skulls.com or some shit like that. That made it funny.
Yeah. Just a death threat to a father, a family.
Yeah. Was it a death threat?
Just kidding. Yeah, no. Skulls.com with the serial number still attached and the packaging still on it.
To be honest, I didn't know anything about it because I think it was linked to as like was it a response to my content com? Or was that before? I don't even remember.
Do you think he sent the skulls himself?
I don't
So context for this clip is, of course, that H3H3 received 2 skulls in the mail. They seem to both be representing either both H3H3, Ethan, or Hila. Or it could have been his kids. And these guys are basically laughing at it. And so Noah Samson over here is also laughing at it, which is pretty funny that Idubbbz is included in this because he's the same guy with a mental breakdown because his OnlyFans girlfriend was being made fun of because she was doing OnlyFans. But here we are. Now, this one doesn't really have a clip to follow along with it, sadly enough. However, the big gigantic thing about this is he made this whole entire video calling H3H3, Mudahar, and a couple other people, as you can clearly see in the thumbnail, a genocide supporter. They're all the supporters of genocide and this kind of stuff, which is absolutely stupid. And of course, H3H3 and Mudahar are suing Noah Samson here for, let's just say, defamation, because it's fucking true. It's fucking stupid, and of course he's a friend of Hasan, and he's had a huge gigantic history of lying in the past. And of course, you got even more people, including the new challengers of Ian Idubbbz and Bad Empanada.
Here's Bad Empanada once again, who posted a story saying, I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein.
He, played a video game where he tried to kill Hila, H3H3's wife, who was in the IDF.
And he went to a military compound in that game and said he was, quote, looking for secretaries to kill. He was looking for Hila, who was a secretary in the IDF, to murder her in a game.
Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now. Secretary got...
Hello. Is this Child Protective Services? Yes, thank you. I'd like to report a case of endemic dog shit infestation in a house. This house, as far as I know, it contains children. And it also contains 2 Zionists, and as we all know, Zionists are baby killers, so I think this is a very dangerous situation for the children, given the dog shit and the Zionists. Oh, you'll send over a SWAT team immediately? SEAL Team 6? Oh man, those are the guys who killed Osama bin Laden. Yeah, I really think this is important enough of a case that you should send those guys over there. Keep those kids safe. Honestly, great service, 10 out of 10, highly recommended, thanks. Anyway, let me know how it goes.
Now, as you can clearly see in these clips, Bad Empanada was not only the one who stoked the fire to have CPS called in H3H3, but also mocked it directly afterwards, just showing you what a mental, schizophrenic fuck this guy is. Now, of course, H3H3 and Ian were friends for a long time. Then, of course, Ian dropped a content comp on him, and that was a whole entire thing in and of itself. I already made a video on that. You can go check it out here. You know, it's fucking simple. Now, all these friends do the one big thing, which is say very controversial things on the internet that Hasan Piker would have said. They take the flag for it. Hasan Piker says, there, I feel bad for you. You know, the internet's bad. The whole entire conservative right is completely after these people. These people are terrible, and, you know, we need to defend our type of political sphere. And so basically what they do is create drama. They go and they bully somebody over drama, or they say something fucking stupid. Everybody says, hey, that was fucking stupid. And then after, you know, the second that anybody says, oh, that's fucking stupid, that's a fucking retarded take, everybody else decides to get their crayons and the helmets on and say,
I don't know, it's retarded. I meant what I said, but at the same time, I can't say it out loud.
What the fuck are you doing? You're like, oh my god, I want my fucking Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into fucking America. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, based? Based? Like, am I supposed to be like, I'm not walking back on it. I still fucking agree with it. Base?
I can't say it aloud. The internet hates me. I don't understand why. And then after 2 weeks later, they're all fine, saying the exact same stuff again, like nothing fucking happened and like nothing fucking changed. And that's how you know they're really good friends of Hasan. When they say the exact same thing as Hasan, take all the blame for it, and allow Hasan to look like a good person when he looks at somebody like Frogan, for example, and says,
she got a lot of harassment on the internet, guys. There's so much bad racism out here. It's so unbelievably bad out here in these streets. Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Everyone, including XQC, is so fucking gross, dude. Straight up. You're fucking gross. That's all it is. Everybody acts like Frogan is everybody acts like Frogan is the fucking Antichrist, okay? And it's so transparent what these fucking losers are doing. Like, you can have disagreements with Frogan if you want, but goddamn, everyone is immediately, like, their reaction is so visceral. It's so goddamn visceral. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. This shit is so fucking normal.
Let's see. A bunch of 9/11 jokes, apologists would smile and laugh. Actual casual racism all the time. Legit actual racism. The I wish veterans get PTSD shit. She's unlikable. She's annoying.
Asmongold, excuse me.
Start?
I saw some of them go fucking viral too. It's like, yeah, bro, she's hijabi. I know. And don't even fucking for a moment act like that does not contribute to this. They will say, oh, it's because we hate her opinions. Like, no, you reacted that way specifically for a very specific purpose, bro. I hate this. I hate this shit so much. But it's not necessary.
You're hating because she's wearing a hijabi. Bro. Please, brother. There is so much to hate on that person. It's hard to find things to like. Every clip I've seen of her is like atrocious. Brother, she's unapologetically offensive, asking the world not to be offensive. When you pick and choose what groups, what style that people can be offensive to, you're already lost in my mind. You don't get to do that. You have to say, yo, don't be offensive to this stuff. That's it. Don't be, well, white people aren't just, but these guys, but Jewish people, like, I'm not, you're just annoying. Like, you're unlikable, lady.
The reaction, and I think it's more so that it's so normalized to behave this way. It really grosses me out. And I know people will try to fucking do the, wow, you're so ruthless for calling out the Islamophobia here and calling out the racism here. I wasn't being racist, and then fucking fight tooth and...
So this is actually rich coming from this guy and everybody around that's been kind of doing the whole like dog whistle of like Jewish equals bad. But guys, hold on. What I mean by that is the people that are Zionists, but you know what I'm talking about though. Guys, oh, the Jews this, the Jews that. Oh shit, no, I meant the Jews that are Zionists that do war and do all that. You know what I'm talking about that. Don't be weird. Okay, but that doesn't apply to people that are saying, this person's annoying. Oh, do I have to say, guys, it's because, no, dude, like, come on, bro.
And I would hate to even talk about what the ex-friends of Hasan Piker end up having to do. For example, H3H3. They had a good podcast together called The Leftovers. You may have heard of it, and you may have heard all the drama coming out of that as well. But they had a good podcast together. They seemed like good friends and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, they had a small, minor disagreement. And I will say small, minor disagreement because Ethan from H3H3 believes in 99.5% of every single little thing that Hasan Piker agrees with, except for the little 0.5%, which is saying that, do you know what? These people in Israel don't deserve to fucking die. Nobody deserves to die. There's children dying on both sides. And he's not even saying that Israel is doing the right thing or anything like that. He's just saying that there are people dying. And Hasan refuses to fucking admit that. And then a continuous hate war from all of Hasan Piker's friends and Hasan himself go and they get on to H3H3. And what ended up happening? The big recent drama. The stuff that I discussed in my previous Idubbbz video, which was the CPS getting called on him, as well as the 2 skulls sent to H3H3's doorstep.
Here's what I'll say about Israel, okay? Listen. This isn't the first time I've said it, and I'll say it many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs, okay? They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal, okay? He's made a coalition of the most like radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis.
Even crying at one point when relating to a father who lost his child.
As a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old.
So the only main disagreement that H3H3 actually had with Hasan throughout this whole entire thing was that he felt a little bit of empathy for the people that were also dying in Israel. That's quite literally fucking it. Now with all this combined, there's no other way to really frame this other than a huge, gigantic little group of people that will find the one kid with a little bit of lunch money and just start beating the shit out of him. I mean, even look at Destiny. Everybody in that whole entire friend group continuously hates Destiny. And I mean, I understand Destiny may not be the most amazing character. He said some very shitty stuff in the past for sure, but he's still on the left. He still agrees with quite a few things that these people agree with, but they continuously go and ram down on this guy for his politics. Now, here's the thing. As I was editing this video, there's a couple more things that I wasn't able to point out in my very initial recording of all this, and that first thing is that lots of these people have so much more drama behind them, and that Hasan Piker has a lot more friends that I probably could have mentioned in this section, but in order for this video to stay under probably 2 fucking hours, we're gonna have to limit it to these clips and this type of context. So for now, that's just the biggest thing there. The second fucking thing is how cowardly these people are. There are so many of Hasan's friends that continuously put bounties on people's heads or say certain people should die or continuously do all this crazy terrorist kind of rhetoric that is continuously spread on the fucking internet. And these people are so fucking cowardly, they will not fight their own battles. What they will do is they'll get their fucking brainwashed audience to do it themselves, which is fucking stupid. Have the fucking balls to do something yourself. You don't have to kill anybody. That's the one part that I don't agree with in any way, shape, or form. Don't fucking do that. But get into a fucking fighting ring or something like that. Whether it's on Creator Clash, which again, there's a bunch of people that would probably watch the fucking fight of a bunch of people that genuinely have all this online drama, whether it's Destiny versus Hasan or fucking Sam Hyde versus Hasan or all these different people that want to go and fight these people. It would get rid of all this extra fucking hatred. After you get in the ring and you fight somebody and you get all that fucking energy out, then at very fucking least, if you say afterwards they want to place a bounty on somebody's head, you will have to admit to fucking everybody that you're such a big pussy you couldn't fucking solve it in the ring or solve it when fighting in private. And that's just one extra thing I wanted to add before, you know, initial Holy Commentator takes over this video. And with all that being said, we need to get into the next part of Hasan.
Baying pig, you bloodthirsty, violent pig dog. You are just a trans person. Sorry, you don't know what the you're talking about. You bad faith, apartheid defending, bloodthirsty, genocidal freak.
Do you want to know the definition of hypocrisy? Well, if you want to know the definition of hypocrisy, come here, have a drink with me. Do you know what? Let's have a drink together while we talk about hypocrisy. There you go. Now, hypocrisy is something we've all committed to. And I think we all understand that there's always a little bit of hypocrisy in the human psyche. There's not a moment in time, I think, in anybody's life where they haven't committed the deadly sin of hypocrisy. There's some people who have two conflicting beliefs. Like, for example, you know, Hasan Piker, who believes in socialism. He believes that the rich should be eliminated, because I can't say the other word, should be eliminated. Now, of course, some people may be saying to themselves, well, how is this hypocrisy? Well, like I said in the introduction of this video, or one of the parts previous, Hasan Piker is filthy rich. He has a $3 million mansion, a $300,000 car, that he, of course, he did all this for you guys, by the way. Let me just state that wholeheartedly. He did all this for you, not for himself.
He's a multi-millionaire socialist with a $200,000 car living in a $3 million mansion. But remember, he only bought the car because he wanted his community to have fun. He didn't actually want it.
Bro, this is why I do this stuff, okay? This is why I was like, I might not even buy this car in the end if it's like, you know, too much of a hassle. But like, I literally do this for that.
Yeah, he spent 150 grand on a car so Austin Ox can make a 30-second video.
No, literally, yeah, so we can all have fun.
That's how good he has it, baby.
So, no, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Yeah, so my community can have fun. Like,
he has a wardrobe that is probably more expensive than the average, you know, a fucking Rolex store. Now, if you combine all these different things, and he continuously says that we need to eliminate these dang-nab capitalists, and then continuously contributes to capitalism in probably the most fucking blatant way imaginable. I would understand in most other ways. Maybe I understand a little bit of change in there, like if he decided to buy one expensive thing, or he decided to get even a $500,000 house. I would understand that a little bit. At very least, you're following your ideals to a small t. You want to go and expand your business. You want to go, wait a second, hold on. Expand your fucking business, but he's socialist. You should own anything. Isn't that right, Hasan Piker? Now, he's also the same type of person that really hates warmongers. He hates war. He loves peace. And of course, I don't know if you guys can realize the hypocrisy of believing in a terror group that wants to absolutely do terrorist attacks in the rest of the world. We're not even just talking the US, but we're also talking innocent merchant vessels that are crossing the water, like his amazing Timothée Chalamet friend over there.
Dude, we think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
And of course, you know, is amazing coverage on the Israel-Palestine situation, where it just seems like Palestine can do nothing wrong when it comes down to how they defend their borders using terrorism. Now, of course, again, no matter what, I mean, that's a very big fucking hypocrisy. You can't say, you can't, oh, I'm so peaceful, I believe in peace, and then laugh at a police officer getting shot. Now, if you add all those things together, there's way more hypocrisy. Let's go talk about the next point of hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen. Since we were talking about peace, how about we talk about something that is kind of included in peace, and that's SA. I can't really say the actual thing, because if I were to say it, then of course YouTube and a lot of other platforms will ban me for it. But you know, it requires a lot of the grabbing, like I said earlier, and a lot of the, you know what I mean, forcefully doing these kind of things. And he says, do you know what?
Other
we
colleges,
hate this.
so they can only do date rape to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters. Is like, in some respects,
unless you're rich or unless you're Israeli, because there's not enough evidence, guys. There's not enough evidence. Believe all women, guy. Woo! Believe all women, Hasan. Good job, buddy. Give this man a round of applause. Oh my god, it hurts. And of course, he says that he hates harassment, but it continuously harasses others and says, you know, you should probably game end yourself over the slightest disagreement. And it's absolutely insane to see as well. It's just continuous reinforcement of hypocrisy, and it just doesn't seem to end. There was even so many more fucking points about Hasan and his hypocrisy, but one of the best ones, I would have to say, has to be the on-the-ground journalism, because that's exactly what he's supposed to represent. On-the-ground journalism, because, you know, he's 100% going to Israel and Palestine and Yemen to go double check all these things. He's so good at it. On-the-ground journalism, ladies and gentlemen. He's so good at on-the-ground journalism. He has never been flawed in his life. Never. Would never.
But if it's between me going live and giving you 10 hours of on the ground, 10 hours of reporting from the ground at a critical moment, at a critical time, versus not going live that day just so I can go on Piers Morgan and fucking yell at him, I think it's selfish of me to take the Piers Morgan route.
1 hour later.
The thinking about going to Gaza thing is also kind of stupid, because I was invited by literal fucking journalists that work in Gaza, okay? And I unfortunately most likely will not be able to go, because the people that I did talk to said that they could not give me security assurances that Israel would not fucking kill me, or anyone really, because Israel is not allowing Western journalists to enter the Gaza Strip, by the way. Think about that, okay? It's not even because like Hamas is scary and they're going to kill you or whatever. That's not the fear. That's not the problem there. The problem is Israel could fucking nuke you at any moment, and America will apologize to Israel for it.
Now, funnily enough, as he's been doing all these different things, he was invited to go to these places, but refused to. The only on-the-ground journalism he has ever done is on the ground in his $3 million mansion. He is not the kind of guy to go out and actually fight or look for his beliefs. Funnily enough, when you have a YouTuber like Brandon Buckingham actually going to these places, an apolitical person going to these places and risking his genuine life to be able to get the actual on-the-ground news story, interview the people there, and all these different types of things, and he's the YouTuber who's able to do it, but the heavily political streamer is unable to do it. It just shows an absolute mental level of hypocrisy. I can say that I have the biggest penis in the fucking West, but you want to know the funniest thing? I don't have the biggest fucking penis in the West. Now, after all these points of hypocrisy, the one big conclusion that most normal human beings have that don't have, you know, a crazy political fucking, you know, slant to one side or the other, is that he is a massive grifter. Because you can't say that you're for socialism and then after be an absolute rich maniac that never spends his money on anything, you can't just say that you are an underground on-the-ground journalist when never actually going anywhere on the ground of any other fucking place but your own American soil at fucking home. You can't say that you hate America and at the same time live in America the whole entire time. You can't say you hate Twitch when Twitch continuously blows you. You can't continuously go down this rabbit hole of continuous hypocrisy on its political beliefs, normal beliefs, and others. It just continuously reinforces this fact that you are a massive fucking hypocrite.
Not about money, it's about sending a message.
Now, with all this being said, I think we can finally conclude this topic. Well, I think we discussed everything from Hasan's hypocrisy, his lies, his group of friends that continuously attack everybody, and all the negative influences. All these different things have led us right here, where he's continuously being blown by journalists and continuously being blown by Twitch. Twitch being a platform that is continuously going down the drain, and when it comes down to journalists and these kind of things, they continue to really perpetuate a very terrible narrative against a lot of people, a rather violent narrative against other people. And everybody is saying that Hasan is, or not everybody, but a lot of people on the left are saying that Hasan Piker is right in his ideology, in his beliefs, and in the ways that he thinks about things. But, you know, there's a lot of terror attacks happening every single day. There was a recent one where 2 innocent people were completely just taken out. And instead of him completely disagreeing with it vehemently, he decides to completely kind of sidestep it, move around that gray line while reading this killer's manifesto. And it's all led to this now, where he's been banned for 24 hours, put back on the platform, and is now continuously putting back the cycle of blaming every single other person. Every other person is now racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, and all these different types of things, and it's never been his fault. It's always been somebody else's fault. And finally, I think he needs to take accountability for at least some of these criticisms. Whether it's mine, or whether it's H3H3's video, which you should probably watch H3H3 Content Nuke. And if you want to go into more description of Hasan Piker and all the bad things, or where I got most of my sources from, go watch Willie Mac's show. He's amazing at this kind of stuff. He made some very good videos on Hasan Piker. Nuxor is really starting to release a whole entire huge, gigantic amount of information on Hasan Piker himself. So I think all these different things will really be able to kind of open your mind to, I don't know, all the Hasan Piker shit. This is just all the stuff that I could find here in this video. And on a separate note, before I end this video completely, like, they have completely erased every single ounce of fucking punch that any of the words like racist, sexist, transphobia, fucking Zionism, all these different types of words have anymore. They're not fucking useful anymore. They're completely just fucking gone to the wind. You can't use these words anymore. I mean, hell, you have Idubbbz saying fucking incel on everybody, including H3H3 as a wife and fucking kids. Just wanted to add that onto the video. This is fucking stupid. So, of course, I think it's time for me to get ready to end this video. I'll be back in a second, guys.
1 hour later.
Do you know what I realized, guys? After recording this whole entire video, I realized one big thing. And that was, maybe Hasan Piker is right. Maybe this whole entire time, I was thinking about all of this wrong. Maybe he's not a hypocrite. Maybe he's an absolute amazing political figure with absolutely no flaws whatsoever. Maybe, you know, he's right about everybody being a Zionist, a racist, a sexist. Maybe he was right this whole entire time. And you know what? I just kind of realized after all of this, I need to go do something about it. All these Zionists and racists and everybody in my area and huge politicians making big decisions that aren't warranted, that aren't in line with my political agreements. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call CPS on H3H3. I'm gonna go send skulls to H3H3's house. And then I'm gonna go out to a town square and possibly game end a couple of people, let's just say, who are Zionists, staunch Zionists, totally 100% Zionists, and definitely not 2 random innocent people. So, of course, using all of Hasan's tactics and, of course, his weaponry that he was, offering on Twitter the other day, I'm gonna go accept all this info and do something about it. I'll see you all in 10 to 15 years when, of course, I'll be released from prison. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, if you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe, and comment down below exactly what you guys think about all of this situation. I'll see you all later. Peace. This is the Holy Commentator, signing off for now, and possibly forever.